This very familiar story of the wise men setting off to follow the star to Bethlehem takes on special significance this Epiphany because of the recent appearance or reappearance of the Star of Bethlehem in our night sky a few weeks ago. Now, throughout the centuries, there's been a lot of speculation among astronomers and theologians alike as to what those wise men saw at the time of Jesus' birth. Was it a comet, a supernova, or, has happened on December 21st, the longest night of the year, a conjunction of two planets passing each other in close proximity? When those two planets are as they were, Jupiter and Saturn, astronomers call it the Great Conjunction. Now, it's a phenomenon that actually happens every 20 years, but not as close as it did this year. Apparently, Jupiter and Saturn appear to be a mere 0.1 degree from each other. That's about the width of a toothpick held at arm's length, according to skyandtelescope.org. And this was the closest Great Conjunction since July 1623, and the first one to be easily observable since March 1226. It was indeed, for those fortunate enough to see it clearly, a spectacular sight of two distant worlds becoming one, to create a star of wonder on the longest night of the year in what has felt like a really long and dark year. Talk about an epiphany. Seeing the Star of Bethlehem, those first wise men from the east had their own epiphany. A new king had been born somewhere in the west. And something stirred within them, a desire for what we're not entirely sure. But it set them off on a journey to go and see for themselves this newborn king. What we do know is that these wise men were magi, members of an ancient priesthood who worshiped the God of purity that was symbolized by fire, because it is the purest of all created things. They believed it to be a sign revealing the one true God who is light and truth. They also believed that the wisdom of the Magi was the greatest wisdom on earth because it knew its own ignorance. It knew that we humans are always seeking answers to life's questions and direction for our life's journey. Yet so much of our lives we travel in the dark when we should be seeking the light of wisdom from on high. Those magi studied both science and religion, and they came to believe that the highest of all learning is the knowledge of the stars. To trace their courses is to untangle the threads of the mystery of life from beginning to end. But because those magi also lived among the ancestors of those Jews who had remained in Persia rather than return to Jerusalem after the Babylonian exile, they also knew what the Jews came to call the star prophecy that is in the book of Numbers. That prophecy reads, "There shall come a star out of Jacob, and a scepter shall arise out of Egypt." Seeing the star of wonder, they set off in search of the newborn king of Israel. And again, we wonder, was it out of some sense of adventure or curiosity? Or did God impart within them that interior knowing that the Spirit gifts to us, that the one they would find was in fact the very incarnation of the light and wisdom of the one true God? The Magi's search for the light of truth is much like our own life's journey. They set off following a point of light in a dark night sky, uncertain of where they were going or what they would find. They weren't as lucky as the shepherds, who were given exact directions by an angel surrounded by a multitude of heavenly light, telling them exactly where Jesus had been born. And once they arrived in Bethlehem, everything was just as they had expected it to be. If only life were like that. To be so certain of what it is we are looking for. To know what will really bring us joy and peace. And where and how we are to find it. We all know there's so much of life we don't know or understand. We travel at the mercy of our own epiphanies. Those moments we are gifted with an interior knowing or a sudden revelation or a moment of aha that changes us in some way or reveals greater clarity or a sense of direction. Those spiritual awakenings to the wisdom of God leading us forward. And as we venture forth in faith through all of life's ambiguities and complexities, we might wish that God would turn on the floodlights, that we might see the entire playing field of life. And instead, God hands us a flashlight so that we can only see what's immediately in front of us. Yet like the star of wonder leading the Magi westward, or a flashlight in our own hand, as we move forward, so does the light, helping us to make our way, one movement forward at a time. So as you embark on this season of light, this beautiful season of epiphany, of following the light of Christ into a new year, what is it that you seek? Do you seek the light that will lead you out of the darkness in whatever form it has engulfed you? Do you seek to go deeper into the light of truth, that you might grow in wisdom and understanding for the challenges with which you are struggling? Do you seek answers to those gnawing questions within you? Why me? Why not me? What went wrong? Which way am I to go? To whom can I turn? Upon whom can I rely? Or maybe like those Magi, you've come to a dead end, and you need the light of truth to guide you down another road. It's an appropriate New Year's gift to ask of God, to be given the light that reveals what it is that you really seek at this moment in your life. But in this moment, the star of wonder has come to rest over that table, that we might become and be fed with all the spiritual sustenance we need by the one who is the light of wisdom, bringing us the gift of new life. Amen.